I need to do one of your courses, mate.
Don't stop.
Wallahi. I've been going into like trauma parenting mode.
Yeah.
Where like I think I'm parenting like my mum currently.
Trust me, we've all been there and done that. Trust me.
Oh, we'll get into this. I love this topic.
Let's get into Wallahi, me too. Welcome to Entry Level Mums.
Hello.
I'm Nasra.
I'm Suya.
If you're new here, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and press the bell notification. Today we have a very interesting guest, don't we?
Someone we've been preying for a while.
Yes.
We've been stalking her Instagram. We've been following this guest for a while, and her content is 10/10.
Yes.
And she really makes you reflect on your upbringing, your culture.
Yes. Parenting choices.
Especially as like ethnic minorities and stuff.
Yes.
But we'll let her introduce herself. Welcome, Maryam.
Welcome.
Thank you. Firstly, thank you for gassing me up.
Come on, we have to sprinkle a little
No,
something.
but we're serious, honestly.
No, I appreciate
it's not
that.
even a joke.
Appreciate that. So for everyone that's listening, my name is Maryam. I always like to introduce myself first as a mum of 3 girls.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
I am the founder of Black and Brown Parenting, which is a parenting organization, and I work predominantly with Black and Brown mums
Love that.
because we have very specific, culturally specific struggles, issues, and I think that's really important because what I found when I was struggling, that there was that lack of representation and cultural awareness.
Yeah.
So I'm also a public speaker and I am a speaker coach. Basically, I work with an academy to train other public speakers.
Amazing.
But can I just say, and I always have to say this, I don't do it all. Yeah,
Okay.
because I think that's important.
Yeah.
Because I'm not about that life. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. So I run workshops online, offline, speak at public events, here at podcasts, alhamdulillah, coaching mums, parents. And I also recently started working with the youth, which
Love
has been
that.
so fulfilling because I wish that I had, I'm not trying to gas myself up, but I wish I had someone like me. You know, like, you've got the elder aunties, but then you've got the one in the middle where I'm the auntie, but I'm the cool auntie now, alhamdulillah. So the youth need someone to relate to who's also been through certain things, but then also can advise them and guide them. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Oh, that's so nice.
She came with energy.
I love that. MashaAllah,
that.
Allahumma barik. No, that's
love
actually
that.
so beautiful.
What like inspires you to start
Yeah.
the Black and Brown parenting courses? and
Yeah,
stuff?
I mean, do you know what? Honestly, I would say it was from my own struggles. Because when I first became a mum, we say we're not going to do what our parents did. May Allah bless our parents. They did what they could with what they had.
Yeah.
And we are in a very privileged position. So I probably should have mentioned my background. I have a degree in South Asian and African colonial history.
Wow.
So when I learned about our histories and then I saw the way that we parented, then I realized there was a connection. And that's actually how Black and Brown parenting came about. Because I was like, how is it that only our cultures parent a certain way?
Yeah.
And when you learn about the history and you go into it, you think, okay, our parents were in survival mode.
Yeah.
They carry so much generational trauma with them that they can't think about being loving. They can just think about putting food on the table and having a roof over our heads.
Surviving.
Literally. So that's kind of one of the reasons how. But for me, I really struggled as a mum when I first became a mum. I had this like image and perception of how I wanted to be, but obviously didn't come out like that. There were so many times I was like, oh gosh, I sound like my mum. My mum watches my stuff, by the way. Mum, I love you. But,
Shout outs to mum.
So that's basically where it came from. And I thought, you know what? When I went to look out for support, there was nothing I could relate to. So I was going into these, I'm very unapologetic in saying, white-centered spaces.
Yeah.
And the information that I was learning sounded great. But when it came to implementing it with my kids, it just didn't work.
Yes.
Because I was holding on to a lot of beliefs that were in direct just contradiction to what I was learning.
Yeah.
So then that's how the cultural sort of sensitivity awareness came about, where I was like, yeah, we need something for us. We need something for our communities where we can speak on the struggles that we have. And also, like, we've got a lot of culturally taboo topics that I love to talk about, and I think the more that we talk about it, the more it normalizes that it's okay to talk about these things, and then we can do something about them, inshallah. So that's a little bit of how Black and Brown parenting came about.
No, I definitely need to do one of your courses because shout out to my mum, but
to Mumsy.
I feel like I'm turning into her a little bit with my parenting, and maybe the way I was parented, and I don't like it. I don't like it.
Interesting.
Especially like, you know, with the, I think I maybe have seen you online. I don't know what my English is doing right now. I think I may have seen you online talking about like how our parents used to like insult us as children. And I find myself doing it, but like not in English because I don't want her to know what I'm saying, but like the frustration of like whatever's going on in that moment and me not being able to control my own emotions. I'm like, ah! So I'm like, the only outlet is really to just cuss you. But like, I feel, in the end, I feel stupid cussing a 5-year-old, you know them ones. And a lot of the insults are like directly back at me. And then I'm like, but I've just insulted myself.
Yeah.
So why? But then in the moment, it's like an outlet and it's like an easy outlet instead of like whiling out. But like, I don't want to do that. My mum did it when I was a kid a lot, but she used the ones that I understood, and she also used the ones that were a little bit more offensive than that one. But
What's more offensive than that?
no, but that's me insulting myself. Do you get it?
Yeah.
My mum would insult me like, you dog. You know those ones. I don't want to call her a dog. You know, kelb, yeah. I don't want to call her a dog. Umbwa. I don't want to do that.
Oh,
and I don't want to go down that path, but you know, it's just so frustrated.
It's hard to like
A deep breath doesn't work.
undo or unlearn something that you've been so
Accustomed to, yeah.
like almost conditioned to do. Do you know what I
Literally.
mean?
Like everybody that I know does it. Like every family member that I know does it.
You
such a
you know what the
Somali
reality
thing.
is, you parent the way that you were parented initially. Until
It's
you
so
know
hard.
something new, you parent the way that you were parented. So
'Cause that's all you know, innit?
That's all you know. And
Yeah.
you've been it's that cultural conditioning. You've been culturally conditioned to just accept that that's normal.
Yeah.
Until you have your own kids and you're like, damn, I remember what that felt like. I don't want to do that. But
Yeah.
then it's not as easy just to say, I don't want to do that. Because listen, I was the same. I was wilding out. I was like, so when I had my first elder two, I call them the big girls. I don't say how old, I don't like to say online how old they are.
Yeah.
But they're in that kind of hormonal age.
Yes.
But when they were little, they were just 2 and a newborn.
Oh wow.
Wallah.
That's a lot.
I'm telling you, wallahi.
That's a lot.
In hindsight, now I can tell you guys that I knew I went through postnatal depression. But at that time, I didn't realize it was postnatal
didn't know,
depression.
yeah.
I'm a people's person. I need my people. But I cut off everyone for like 3-4 months. My friends tried to want to visit and I was like, no, not now. You know, I stopped going out. I stopped doing all the things and I just really just shut down. And, you know, bless our parents, they think, for them, these things are normal because they probably went through them. They didn't know what they were going through either, which is why I think it's so important for mums to have safe spaces. I love that we can be so honest. I love the honesty in the room because it's so important. Because hopefully, I hope that when other people are listening to this, they can also recognize and resonate and know that, you know what, we a lot of us go through it and we don't realize.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. I feel like a lot of us as ethnic mums, and a lot of it is not our fault. We don't have emotional maturity. I'll be honest with you. When I first became a mum, I was so emotionally immature. You know, it's like when your child's having a tantrum, you're having your own tantrum.
Yeah.
You're literally having your own tantrum because you're like, why are you screaming and crying? What is wrong with you? You know, and I used to say that out loud.
You used to get triggered.
Literally, the triggers were wild. And then you stop yourself and you think, hold on, I'm the adult. But I don't know what to do with all of these emotions because I don't know what about you two, but for me, we got beats. we got beats growing up.
Hey.
Yo, I was saying the other day, I get why people beat their kids, bro. Because I went through like a week of like, I'm actually considering strangling this youth, bruv. I actually went through a week of like, wow, why am I considering violence? Like, I actually understood in that week. I was like, I get why. If this was my mum, she would have beat the shit out of me. Like, I understand why. I get it. Like, I get it.
Did you get beats, Lasla?
You know what? Yeah, I'll tell you something funny. As an only child, my mum never beat me.
Yeah.
Like, she actually never beat me. Other people beat me. My mum never beat me. Her sisters beat me. Like, the other aunties beat me. Like, my mum never laid a finger on me. But what she did was, she used to throw shit at me when she was angry. And you know what?
all mums do that?
Her aim is 10 out of 10. She used to, one time, you know those old house phones? So we went through a phase where we had the corded one. And then we upgraded and we got the one that was like wireless. The wireless one, the same size as that can, yeah. She would lob it at me. One time I weren't paying attention, she lobbed it at me, it clipped the side of my head.
Oh my Lord.
And I was like, how on earth did you throw it from that far away and actually hit me? So I used to look at her like, what kind of aim do you have? Like, what's going on? She used to throw stuff at me. She used to throw shoes at me. So anything that was next to her, the Sky remote, the one that's like the size of my arm.
I
she used to throw the Sky remote at me. Bruv, anything that was next to me. And if there was nothing next to me, she'd be like, you better run. And then I would run. and then she wouldn't chase me. So that's how she'd get rid of me.
The best place as a kid where I used to run, anytime I could see my mum getting up because she's pissed, I run up the stairs because my mum, she never came after us upstairs.
We had stairs as well. I used to run up the stairs.
Running up the stairs was the best thing ever because she would always just wait at the bottom and shouting, and I'm like, you can't catch me.
Nah, bro. I remember one time we were at my aunt's house. And by the way, now me and this auntie, we're boys now. We're actually boys. Like, we're actually friends. I call her by her name. Aww. Like, she's my mom's sister, but I don't even call her auntie anymore. But me and when she was a lot younger, and she hadn't had any kids at that time, so she didn't know what it was like to be a mom.
Yeah.
So me and my cousin, we from their other sister, we broke something in her. He broke something in her house, and then he blamed me. But then she was like, collective punishment, you're both getting punished.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I don't care who did it, because I was like, it wasn't me. He was like, it wasn't me. I'm like, it was him. He was like, it's her. So she was like, collective punishment. She laid us down. She got one of my uncle's belts. She was like, okay, put your trousers down. Oh. And in hindsight, I'm like, that's some weird shit.
That's wild.
But like, we put our trousers down, and then she beat the shit out of us. And I remember laying there, firming it, and I just took the beats. And then I remember... vivid memory, he was crying, like, and she was like, Nusra's not crying. Why are you crying? And then she would beat him more.
No, that's...
Firm it.
I can't lie.
No.
You know, when it comes to discipline and beats, and I've witnessed it many times with like other family members, it's actually genuinely traumatizing when I'm watching someone get beat by their parent.
Oh, yeah. I watched a lot of people get beat by their parents.
You know, for me, it's not even like using the hands. It's not as bad as like when they get the belt
or the wire,
or like when they get a cable wire.
Cable wire,
Genuinely, I'm like, no, this is
extension cord,
way too far.
Extension cord, everything.
Like that's way
But this
too
is
far.
the thing, you know what? Like on a real though, I think coming back to discipline, it's when I become a mum, I had to start questioning. I was like, so why is it our cultures that discipline like this? Like, where does that come from?
Yeah.
Until I made the connection that actually, when we say discipline, like go into any room with black and brown people and you say discipline, they're like, yeah, beat your kid, shout and scream at them, you know, like, I don't know, isolate them. Like, it's that's not discipline, right? Discipline is when you either sit down, talk to your child, if they're of that age, obviously, or it's either you place a boundary. Like I have to do it with my older girls.
Yeah.
Like they want to go somewhere and I'm like, I understand you want to go. You know, when they get to that age, I understand you want to go, but this are the reasons me and your dad have decided that you can't go. It's not fair. I hate you. That's all right. Validate. It's okay. I know you feel like that. It's okay. I used to feel like that as well. It's okay. But you're still not going. Yeah. That's discipline. That's boundaries, and you're allowed to do that without shouting and screaming. But I just want to make one point, which I think I make on everywhere I speak. So there's this lady called Stacey Patton, and she's wrote a book, so you can look into it. But she looked into the history of it, and I did this in my degree as well, where she said that the reason why, especially I think more so as black people, that we perhaps discipline in beating and using stuff is because it goes back to colonialism. Yeah. And what I'm talking about is when we were enslaved and then you had the slave masters and then you had your children. You would do anything to protect your children. So they had to be on their best behavior. If your kids start acting up, what's going to happen? Them white masters are going to come and take away your kids. So in order to protect the kids, you're beating them to get them to behave. So you see how that generational trauma trickles down. Now, the intention is good. I'm trying to be careful when I say this. The intention is good, as in it comes back to that place of tough love. Like I'm doing it because I love you. So it comes from a place of love and a place of protection. But is it really protecting them? What is it doing? And I hear this rhetoric all the time where people say, oh, you know, my dad says it, bless him, He sees me on TV and he's like, oh, here you go again, Maryam. What are you going to go talk about today? He's like, you're going to talk about your childhood trauma. Like, my dad don't believe in trauma, bless him. Big ups to dad because I'm more like him than anything else,
Shout out to your dad.
So he's like, no, it made me who I am. It made me stronger. You know, I turned out fine. If I didn't have those beats, or if I wasn't brought up in that way, and you hear a lot of elders say that, even this generation, you hear them say that.
Positive.
They'll say, yeah, like it toughened me up. It made me, I needed that. And I'm just like, yeah, but how are you emotionally? Yeah, can you connect with your emotions, or can you connect with your children's emotions, or how are you when conflict arises? What do you do? Do you resort to shouting and power and violence? Because then you didn't turn out fine, really. And actually, that's one of the name of my courses is actually called "I Didn't Turn Out Fine" for that reason.
Wow.
Because it's okay, we didn't turn out fine, but we can work on that. That's all right.
Do that course.
We can work on that. But I think when, as a community, we get to that level where like, okay, halas, it's not right. Now what do we do?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. It's not about shaming ourselves. It's not about shaming our parents. You know, bless them. But then it's about, it's not right. But what do we do? What skills do we need to learn, or what do we need to unlearn? What are the lot of beliefs? Because you know, you were saying that you don't want to do it, but you still do it, and I did it as well.
Yeah.
It's because we're carrying around certain beliefs that we don't realize. So it's working on them first, and then learning the new skills. So that it's about emotional maturity. But that's what I think it comes down to.
What are the steps to take to kind of change?
Yeah, I mean, I think
your way of parenting, like, how do you do it?
Also, is there ever like it's too late?
Okay, first let me answer your question. It's never too late.
Okay.
It's never ever too late, because I feel like I've had clients who have 17, 18-year-olds, 21, 22, just about to get married, you know, and them, the mums, bless them, have, you know what? I think the misunderstanding is, it's not that the child changes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not saying the child's not doing anything wrong, because I'm not sitting here saying children cannot, but of course, especially when they get older,
They're
they can.
annoying.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
But the minute you change as a mum, like your behavior changes, the way that you speak to them and the way that you communicate with them, you will notice shifts in their behaviors, because I truly believe that disrespect is something that's learned.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's if a child is disrespectful, it's your fault. But there are moments, like I've seen it in my kids. I'm like, they're fighting.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what did she just say? I'm like, I swear that sounds like me. Wallahi, that sounds like me. I probably said that somewhere, yeah? And you don't realise that if you're shouting and screaming at them, like even my daughter, she calls me out all the time, that she's like, Mom, you say to us don't shout, but you're shouting.
Yeah, my kid calls me out as well, and she's 5.
But then the first step is like, well, are you ready to bring down your ego and say,
true.
you know what? Well, actually, as a parent, I can be wrong.
Yeah.
Because I think our parents,
No,
they didn't get that.
Accountability.
You know, so I think the first step is taking accountability of your behavior, not in a shameful way, but like, okay, you know,
You're right. Yeah.
that was wrong of me. That's the first step, because if you don't get there, then you can't change anything. You're in denial.
True. That's true.
Basically.
100%. You have to show your kids that you're also human as well. Like,
Absolutely.
because I feel like even like, I don't know if it's just a Somali thing, but like the parents, I can't lie, Somali parents, they have this thing of, I am your parent,
and I can never be wrong. Yeah.
Like, I don't know anyone who could say, yeah, my parents used to apologize to me when I was younger. I don't know if that's even a thing.
Yeah.
I think my mom apologized to me once, but that's because she was actually in the wrong. The rest of the time, she didn't think she was in the wrong, and she recognized that she was in the wrong, and she apologized. I think I was maybe like 16. She apologized again when I think it was like 25. 20, no, not 25, like 23. 23-ish, me and her had a really heart-to-heart conversation. She was like, I'm sorry. And I was like, you know, it's all right, actually. Thank you for saying that.
Mums,
Thank you for saying that.
That's big. That's big. And
It's very
for
big.
anyone that's listening, I want to say, do you know what? If you apologize to your children, you've broken a big cycle.
100%.
You've broken a big cycle, because even till today, I don't get no apology. It's okay, but I've made peace with that. It's okay, yeah. But it's even that, just knowing that you can be wrong. And I know it sounds so simple, is a lot. It's a lot. And your kids will appreciate that 100%.
I'm doing that now. Jenna's 3 years old.
Yeah, me as well.
She's 3 years old, and sometimes I notice myself snapping at her.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Jenna, I'm so sorry. Like, I always, I'm starting from now,
Good,
just so that I'm used to it.
Yeah.
Do you get it? Start from now.
Yeah.
Because even now, she's so forgiving. Like
No, but they're really forgiving.
They're so forgiving.
Oh,
And I
so
know
pure.
when they're teenagers, they ain't gonna be that forgiving.
They're not going to be as forgiving.
Right, so
yeah.
I'm gonna obviously just appreciate all of this now. But when I do make mistakes, and I know that I'm just in a bad mood and it's got nothing to do with her, I always just say, Jen, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. She's like, it's okay, mommy. And she just hugs me and it's like,
MashaAllah. See, my 4-year-old is like that. Yeah. But my older ones, they're not like that. So I have to sit with them. And one day I had a conversation with my eldest and I said, you know what, like you're growing older now. And I said, you know, your hormones. And, you know, sometimes you might not like mummy. Yeah. Sometimes you might think I'm just being horrible and I'm being mean. And that's okay. It could be true, but it also could be your hormones. Yeah. But I've never been a mum to a child of, you know, X age before. And you've never been that age either. Yeah. So, you know, we're learning, we're growing. You're learning and I'm learning alongside you. And I'm going to make mistakes. So yeah, alhamdulillah, I apologize to my kids. And I just want to say to everyone that does, listen, that's amazing.
Yeah. There's a guy that I saw online. He was doing like, he was talking about parenting, and he said something like, between the ages of like 0 and like 7 years old, your kids are like, they're like sponges. They learn everything. They just absorb everything. They form their personalities. And then from about, he said 10 or 11, he goes from then up until about 20, they're just gonna think that you're stupid.
Yeah.
So he was like our brains are like programmed. I think like he said on like an evolutionary level, they're programmed for you to like be learning about yourself and your personality and growing up until a certain age, and then after that you see your parents as stupid. So you go against them and you don't follow them, and then you rebel, and then you don't want to listen to them. You don't want to know anything. Your mum is dumb. Your dad is dumb, and then you get to a point where you're like, oh, actually, now I know, now I understand, where your brain like forms a bit more, and then you're like, okay, my parents are not stupid. My parents are actually very smart. Like they're older than me, they know, they're wise. But he goes from that age up until they reach that stage, every time they fight with me or rebel or do something, I'm gonna be like, oh, you don't agree with me, you must think I'm stupid, isn't it? It's okay, in your brain, I'm stupid. So he was like, I'm gonna reinforce that until they snap out of it eventually. And then he said as well, because of that, they're more likely to follow what other people are doing. Other people, he said, I don't know if you've noticed, but if your friend talks to your kid, they're more likely to listen to your friend, even though you and your friend are the same age. But they're not going to listen to you because they're programmed to think that their parents are stupid.
Yeah. 0 to 7, they say those formative years, and Islamically as well, they say that should be a time where you're just like nurturing them, raising them, playing with them, you know, just building that beautiful relationship. But 7 to 14, and I know it's like, I forgot to mention, I home educate, so my kids don't even go to school. You're not going to look at me like I'm mad now.
I love that. What? Not you're mad, that's amazing.
Wow. And the reason why I'm mentioning that is because from the ages of 7 plus, there is something that happens, and it's called peer-to-peer transference, where they let go. It's like they move from the parental relationship to the friends becoming really important. We've all been through that. We know that, right? So it's like your friends are like everything. Everything they say is right. Anything mom and dad, like you were saying, is wrong. You don't know. Like times have
you don't get it.
My eldest, she's like, oh yeah, mom, yeah. In the olden days, I'm like, girl, what are you? Every time I talk about, you know, what was it the other day she was saying? I can't even remember. She was like, we were talking about Super Mario. I was like, yeah, I used to play on the Nintendo. She goes, oh, yeah. In the olden days, they used to have that.
Wow. That would trigger me.
Listen.
That would trigger me so much.
I was like, I'm not that old.
Oh, my God, that would trigger me.
I think I'm a cool mum. She's like, alhamdulillah. They say that, you know what, when my girls describe me, I'm like, I asked them once, I saw something on TikTok. I was like, describe me in 3 words. They were like, especially the older ones. Because you know they're going to say something to trigger me, yeah? They were like, weird.
Weird.
Like, great place to start. They were like, fun. And then they were like, yeah, you're all right. You're funny. You're not like other moms. I was like, what does that mean? I was like, they're not weird like you. I was like, you don't see what they like in their homes, is it? Because listen, if you see me at home, I'm like dancing, I'm singing. I'm just doing some mad stuff,
I love that.
That's just me. But I have to say, I'm going to be honest in saying that I feel like it took me a long time to get to that place.
Yeah.
I feel like at the beginning of my motherhood journey, I felt like I just had to play this role, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm the mom. Like, every day you get on and you put on this mask and you're like, I'm the mom, I've got to just do the cooking.
So draining, isn't it?
You know, and it's draining, and you feel like you can't be your human self.
Your authentic self,
you know?
Yeah.
And it just, like, listen, parenting is hard, don't get me wrong, especially...
And it sometimes feels like you've got so many eyes on you. Like, sometimes I get a bit anxious because, like, when I'm out and about with the kids or we go to someone else's house, I just feel like they're watching me on a microscope to see what kind of mum I am. And
the judgment.
you know how it's like from older aunties and that.
Yeah.
The judgment. I want to just talk. I'm glad you said that because I feel like, you know, when you choose a different way to discipline your kids, so you're not beating them, you're not shouting at them.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then you got your toddler having a tantrum, all the aunties are looking at you, and your mum's like, oh, yeah, you're just spoiling her.
Yeah.
It's because of you. You decided not to beat her and shout at her. That's why she's behaving like this. It's your fault.
Yeah.
That's not easy.
Yeah, but the thing is, I always say to them, she's 5. Like, what do you really expect from her?
From a 5-year-old?
Do you know what I'm saying?
Her
My
brain
mum
is not even developed
Yeah.
properly. Like,
My mum is literally what you described earlier
Yeah.
on. Like, my kid is having a tantrum. My mum is also having a tantrum. So sometimes I'm here, like, trying to diffuse 2 tantrums.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like, I'll put my hand on her shoulder and I'll be like, take a couple of deep breaths because you need to take a couple of deep breaths. You're the adult
parenting
here.
both of them.
Take a deep breath. Calm down. You're okay. I'm like, calm down.
Yeah.
After I've calmed her down, then I have to go calm my kid down. I'm like, chill. Stop screaming. There's no need. Relax. Take a deep breath. And then she's in the middle of the tantrum going, I don't want to take a deep breath. And I'm like, okay. But once I've diffused my mom, I then diffuse my kid. And then I'm there now drained. I'm like, that was exhausting.
Yeah.
That was exhausting.
It is a lot. You know, funny you tell that story actually, because I'll tell you another story about my mum. She was with my youngest, and I was in the other room, and I think she asked my youngest is 4. She asked my youngest to get something.
Yeah.
And I think my youngest made a face, and she was like, it's okay if you don't want to get it. You can say no to me. It's okay. I was like, what? You can say no. What? And I was like, the unhealed version of me would have stormed into that room and said, listen, we didn't have a choice. What do you mean she has a choice to get it or not?
Wow.
But the reason why I want to give this example is because, look, it's not our job to parent our parents, because that's
Okay.
exhausting.
It's so exhausting.
But it is our job to place boundaries, like you were saying, to place boundaries to protect our children where we can discipline them in the way that we want to discipline them, whether or not people understand. Yeah, because let's be real, in our communities, they're not going to understand. That's okay. Some people will, some people won't. But our job is to parent in a way that aligns with our beliefs and our values. And Islamically as well. I want to go into this a little bit as well. But even Islamically as well, it's part of the sunnah to parent with mercy. If we look at a lot of what I teach is actually called, I don't like gentle parenting, only because that word gentle just sets people off and they're like, so I use conscious meaning like you're mindful of your behavior and you're mindful. So I prefer to use that word. So conscious parenting principles are simply open communication, love, empathy, remembering what it felt like to be a child yourself.
Yeah.
Just validating the emotion doesn't mean you validate emotions, you let them do whatever the heck they want. It just means you're just accepting that you are allowed to have that emotion about it, right? So a lot of those principles are from the Sunnah. Like if you read the seerah and the way the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was around children and how he treated them, like it's all there. It's nothing new.
Yeah.
It's from Islam, and
He was
that's
so
with a lot of things as well. To be honest with you, let me
He
not
was
get
so
into that.
sweet.
So, what was I saying? I don't remember now.
Conscious parenting.
Yeah, conscious parenting. So it aligns with the. No, I've lost it.
You said something about the steps in conscious parenting.
You were also talking about something your mum said.
Yes.
And then you...
No,
Yeah,
then
I
you
don't
mentioned
remember.
your mum and then the 4-year-old having a choice, conscious parenting.
Yeah, so like I said, the unhealed version of me would have been like, But what I'm saying is that, sometimes when your parents, whether or not they understand, whether or not they agree, but when they see you raising your kids a certain way, because this is what I've seen, when they see you raising your kids a certain way, they're like, they may not verbalize it because mine don't, but they're learning.
Yes,
They're
they
learning
are.
and they're like, okay, so this is the way to do things, or this works a little bit better. And actually maybe beating them and shouting them is not the right way. And maybe communicating and talking with them is actually healthier, better for them. Because I speak to my mom, bless her, and she's very open about like the way that she raised. And she always says, she goes, Maryam, like, if I knew more, if I knew better, or if I had more knowledge, we just did the best that we could.
She would have done things
Wallahi,
differently.
like they just did the best that they could, and the reason why I say this, I feel like the elders get a lot of stick.
They
I feel
do.
like they do, but they are open to learning. Maybe not as fast as we'd hope they could, but they are open to, and they are learning just from watching the way that you're living your life or watching the way that you're raising your kids as well. So I think that's a really important point, that they can learn, and it's changing. Things are absolutely changing.
Like in your community, when you're teaching like the elders these like different practices and ways to do things, do you ever get like stick from them about like, oh, do you think you know everything? Like, we're older than you. Do you hear like stuff like that?
I mean, I don't teach the elders, but I teach mums who may be like of a certain age. But my mum, she said to me before, she goes, "Oh, so you're gonna teach me how to be a parent now?"
Hey.
And it's like, no, mum, it's not about teaching you how to be a parent. It's just, you know, like every generation should improve.
Yeah.
Get
Yeah?
better, yeah.
It's like, you know, you want to be a good ancestor. Like,
Yeah.
you know, wallahi, like I sometimes think and I hope and pray that inshallah we all make it to Jannah, you know, and like
Inshallah.
you're like the way that you've parented your children, wallahi, I believe can be one of the means to enter Jannah. I truly
100%.
believe that, you know, like imagine you're in Jannah and one of the little ones are running to you, oh, it's because of you, you know, you stopped smacking your kids or you stopped shouting and alhamdulillah, we had a great childhood and alhamdulillah. Like you just don't know. Wallahi, you don't know.
Don't know what will be your ticket.
Honestly,
you know?
but yeah, my mom said that to me all the time. She goes, "Oh, you're gonna tell us now. You know better." Blah 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 blah. Bless her. But yeah, no, I get a lot of like even online. I get a lot of backlash. Like
way.
I come on like, you know, if I'm speaking at events or podcast scripts and it's going out and people and the comment section is wild. It's like,
But wait, this is what I'm not understanding. Backlash for what? Are they angry that you're saying don't beat your kids?
yeah, yeah,
What?
yeah. They say
When you put it like that, so yeah.
No. Deep it. Like, actually deep it. Like, why are you getting angry
exactly.
for? They should be getting angry if you're going on Instagram saying beat your kids.
Yeah,
for real.
exactly.
Then, yeah. Then
No,
people
but
can-
they're saying, yeah, but it worked. It worked. It worked. We should do it. You know,
Yeah, your
I
kids
got
are gonna
beaten
be-
and I was
okay,
fine.
cool.
You're just spoiling your kids. Oh, like, hey, we're raising a soft generation. Blah blah blah. Or another thing that I get. This is for white people. This is white people parenting. This is not from us. This is not from our culture. We don't, you know. There's that rhetoric, isn't it, for the white people? It's okay. It's that whole thing, isn't it? But
Bruh.
it's like it's not a white people parenting thing. Like I said, it comes from the Sunnah. So for anyone that wants to say that, go read the Sirah, yeah, because it's not. Yeah, and that's why it comes back to generational trauma.
Yeah.
Because that's why it's so embedded in specific cultures. So yeah, I get that as well.
Do you know what's also really funny though? When they say stuff like, oh, I turned out fine and blah, 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 or it taught me how to be strong or whatever it is they say, yeah. If beating works, why is it that you have to keep getting beats? Why do you keep...
Exactly.
Why can't you beat them once and then they'll be okay?
Like, if the beating really worked, your parents would have beaten you once and you would be good after that, right? But you still
That is a good point.
You still misbehave. What's the beating actually doing?
And then once they've beat you, you've now calmed down.
It's not
They're gonna
working.
offer you food as an apology.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
it.
it's the same cycle that just keeps going round and round and round. And then you're still gonna be bad again.
But that's what I'm saying. You made an important point there because what does beating actually teach?
Does it actually work?
It
because you're still
teaches-
misbehaving.
I'll be honest. What it teaches is that the next time I have a problem, I'm going to use power and violence to deal with it. That's what it teaches.
Yeah.
So when you see your kids shouting and screaming at each other, how do you get bullies?
That's
How are
true.
children bullies at school or outside of school? Because they've probably faced or experienced something within the home, within their upbringing, where they have been tormented and probably bullied themselves. And I remember seeing the statement
100%.
online where it says, you know, it's really sad that sometimes unknowingly, as a parent, you can be your child's first bully.
That's so
Unknowingly.
100%.
Subhanallah,
That's so
unknowingly.
sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not teaching them discipline. It's teaching them use power, use violence, be disrespectful. Because how are they going to resolve conflict? They're probably going to use power and violence and shout and scream. So it's not teaching them discipline at all. And actually, you know what? Like I said, I work with a lot of youth and I've been through my own experiences. Yeah. When you're getting beaten for something, or you send your child to time out, I don't agree with time out, by the way, but you send your child to time out, are they really going to sit there and think, oh, what I did was really bad? And
No,
I
they're just
shouldn't
gonna wait
do
for the
that.
time to finish and go
They're
back.
going to wait for the time to finish.
They're going to be looking at the wall,
Exactly.
counting the cracks. Like,
But as they get older, I'm going to be honest, they're going to be like, you know what? I'm going to do it again, but I'm not going to get caught this time.
Yeah.
So you're teaching them to lie.
You're raising criminals.
Possibly.
yeah.
Yeah. And actually, online, I asked my community, I said to them, you know, like, I don't like to use the word, I don't like strict, because strict can mean anything, innit? Like, strict,
Yeah.
my kids say that I'm strict.
Some people
Strict
can
can
say
mean
strict,
anything.
but when you look at their parents, you're like, they're actually not that strict. My parents
Yeah.
are stricter. Everyone has their
Everyone
own,
has
like,
their own definition of what strict is. But I asked them and I was like, you know, like, do you think strict parenting like makes like kids or teenagers specifically lead double lives?
Yeah.
And they said, yeah.
Yes.
They said, yeah. They were like, you would not be able to recognize a lot of these kids the way they are outside, inside. You know, and I'm talking
100%.
about like the what they're doing out there. You know, they come from religious homes and they're doing things, and it's like because you've pushed them away.
Even their speech,
Oh
like how
my-
they talk at home, if
Yeah.
they don't talk to you,
Yeah.
you might go outside and they're effing and blinding, and you're thinking, isn't that so and so's kid? They're so well behaved at home, but like outside, they're completely different kids.
Exactly.
You
And
know-
it's, you know what, at the end of the day, I feel like all of us probably agree that we want our kids to go out into the world and make the right decisions, whether we are there or not. Yeah. So beating and shouting at them, you're there. Yeah, they might do the right thing in front of you, but when they have the choice not to do it, are they going to do it? And also, do you know what? Like, as my kids are growing on, I'm deep in it. I'm like, you know, one day, yeah, these girls are going to have a choice whether they want to pick up the phone, they want to talk to me, whether they want to come round to mum's, you know? And that's
what people don't think about. That's exactly what people don't think about.
That's it.
Because later on in life, when you're old and you need to be looked after, because our cultures, we don't do nursing homes. We don't do any of that. We look after our old until they pass away. And when you're old, how are they going to treat you? So it's so funny. Me and my mum had this conversation not too long ago where I was saying the way that you're treated as a child, because I can't remember the context of why we were having this conversation, but I think she mentioned something about somebody being mean to their mum when they were very, very old. And she was like, that person has zero patience with their mum. That person is horrible to their mum. Allah's not going to be happy with them. All of these things that she was saying, right? And I said to her, but have you not maybe how was their mum when they were young? And then my mum was like, yeah, that woman was strict, that she would beat the life out of her kids. Like she was like a very, very like on the ball mum. And I said, well, why do you think that they're being horrible to their mum when their mum is old? Because it's almost like payback time. Like they subconsciously don't realize they're doing it, but when their mum is vulnerable, they're treating their mum how they were treated when they were vulnerable. And I explained that to my mum, and she was just sat there like, you know what? That makes so much sense. She was like, I said, if that lady was really kind to her kids would be treating her right now with kindness. But if she was absent, if she was neglectful, if she was abusive, all of those things, now that she's old and vulnerable, it's payback time. Even subconsciously, they don't realize they're doing it.
Absolutely. No, 100% agree. And I think, you know what, that's the thing with parenting is, I know like every day we're in the thick of it, it's crazy, it's chaotic. I mean, it can be beautiful at the same time. But let's be real, it can be very stressful. We don't realize that actually we shouldn't be parenting for the short term. We got to parent for the long term, yeah? Because like you were saying, it's like, I get a lot of clients and they're like, oh, my teenagers like this. And I get it. You know, like teenagers do go through that. I think, personally, I believe teenagers get a bad stick. I think the youth get a bad, like, just unnecessarily.
Yeah.
Teenagers do go through hormones and like they're learning who they are. Yeah. That absolutely exists. However, I do believe like the relationship that you have with your teens or the relationship you have with your adult kids starts from how you are with them as a toddler. Like it's those seeds that you're planting from early.
Facts. You know, I've heard kids say, oh, it's all right, I'll just firm the beats later. Like, I've fully heard
know
kids
my
say,
mum's going to beat me. Like, they know.
I'm going to get beats, but it's all right, I'll just firm it. It's fine. They're so used to being beaten that, like, it doesn't even hurt anymore.
Do you know what I've heard as well? I've heard so many people say, my parents beat me all the time, but once I stop crying, they stop beating. So like once they just firm the pain, because they get used to it.
Yeah.
So once like they're looking at their parents like, okay, that didn't hurt.
Is that it?
Yeah.
That's
I've
when
heard the kids say, is that it?
So sad.
Beep it.
Is that it?
That's so sad.
So
You're getting weaker.
So you're beating your child for what? So that they can be in pain from it? Do you get it? And once you see that that's not working anymore, that's when you stop beating them.
And you know what? I'm going to say something, and it's the truth. I'm going to be honest. It's the truth because I've seen it in our communities where I feel like, you know, with boys, there's only when they get to a certain age, there's only so much you can beat them. And I have heard of cases where they were beaten up when they were children. When they got older, they started raising hands towards their own parents. So it don't work.
It really doesn't work.
And it also instills fear.
The
The fear you get, like, as kids, like, knowing that your parents are going to beat you or that's, it's not worth it, man.
I think for me, like, I parented from a place of fear, like when I first became a mum. And to make that shift from fear to actually, how are your children going to respect you? Should they respect you because, you know, they actually love you? There should be, okay, there should be an element of fear, right?
Yeah.
As in like, I love my mom so much, like I don't want to disappoint her.
yeah.
That type of fear. Not like, oh
Yeah.
my God, she's going to beat me.
Or
She's
she's
going to
gonna
go
go
off on
crazy,
one.
yeah.
You know, not
Yeah.
that type of fear. But I would like to hope that we can move to a place of actually parenting from a place of love, so they actually respect us for us, you know, and then that way they wouldn't naturally, because like, let's be, when you have a friend, yeah, and you love your friend, you're not going to want to do things to disappoint them. Yeah, naturally you're going to be respectful towards them.
Yeah, naturally.
Not because someone is bullying you. You're only going to respect them for a certain amount of time, or when you're away from them, or, you know, like you've gone off and you've in your own space, and then you want nothing to do with them. And you see that in our communities now. A lot of the youth don't, you know, it's so sad. Like I speak to them and they're like, I don't know if I want to be a parent. Why? Because of the way that I was parented, I feel like I'm going to do exactly the same thing.
Oh.
Especially, I hear it a lot from eldest daughters as well.
Oh, I'm an eldest daughter.
Listen,
Yeah.
so many eldest daughters are like, I raised 5 siblings.
Ugh.
I'm done.
I've
heard
already
that as well.
parented.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna do this. Like,
Yeah. Oh, that's another conversation.
It's a whole
Because I'm
topic.
an eldest granddaughter.
It's so
Aye.
mad.
And I'm an eldest daughter, and I'm
Wow.
raising 3 girls, and I'm raising a eldest daughter.
Wow.
So I'm very careful. I'm like, I don't want to burden her with like extra responsibilities.
saying.
And I don't
Yes.
say to her like, you're older, you should know better, because, you know, like, she's a child, she's still little,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, that's another conversation.
hey, that's a whole
That's a
nother
whole topic.
conversation. We need to have a whole episode on just birth orders, because
For
I'm
real.
so like fascinated
For
by
real.
birth orders. You know that. Like,
I'm fascinated as well.
if anyone wants to come and like talk about birth orders, please let us know.
That
Do you
would
know,
be so interesting.
It's so weird because like I'm an only child, so I feel like I had the kind of eldest daughter responsibilities without the younger siblings. But I think also because I didn't have the younger siblings, I had like a level of freedom in that sense that other people didn't really have.
Must be nice.
Yeah, because the thing is, there's no one there for me to be like a bad role model to. There's no one there for me to be,
that's it.
you know, bad influence.
Yeah.
So I had that level of freedom where I could actually just be myself and still have all of the elder child responsibilities. Like my mom still taught me how to cook, clean, all of those things. But there wasn't the pressure of looking after anyone's, except for my cousins and all of that. But that was by choice, not really by force.
I saw a quote somewhere on social media, or maybe it was a TikTok, but it was someone saying, how do I put it? Someone was saying, you will know what kind of parent you have been depending on how much time your adult child spends with you.
Oh, wow.
So when your adult child is independent, they live in their own place or whatever, they have their own life, they're busy with their own commitments, their kids, their own families, if they still make time to spend time with you,
Yeah.
then you were a decent parent. Because a lot of people, you'll be surprised how many people in their 20s are going no contact with their own parents.
It's so I
I've seen
know
it everywhere.
so
on,
many.
like, I've seen it on like TikTok
Wow.
comments. Like now it's got to a point where if someone posts a TikTok of their perfect relationship with their parents, or if a girl's saying, oh, look what my dad's doing for me. If you look at the comments, it's just people trauma
I wish I
dumping.
had that.
I wish my dad did that.
Yeah.
I went non-contact with my dad 15 years ago. Like
That's
it's
crazy
seen
work.
that.
it's so crazy. And now I was reflecting and I was like, you know what? Like, I'm really glad that I'm able to like literally chill at my parents' house like almost every day, like every weekend.
Love
Like
that for you.
there's not a week that goes by where I don't see my parents. I work with my mom, to be honest.
You're kind of forced to see her on a day-to-day basis.
But if I wanted to, I could run away and go to another country if I didn't like her. Do you know what I mean? I have that independence as an adult. But alhamdulillah, it just makes you reflect and think like, you know what? Like, there's people going through real trauma with their own parents. Like, can you imagine going no contact on your own mum and dad?
I'm not gonna lie, me and my mum are codependent. I'm not gonna lie, 100%. Me and my mum are codependent in the most unhealthiest way. Like, genuinely, in the unhealthiest way. We fight, we argue, we bicker. We're like a married couple that are not married. Like, literally, we bicker and fight all the time. but yet we still can't stay away from each other.
Of course.
We're constantly in each other's business, in each other's space. Like sometimes she just shows up to my house. She opens the front door. I don't even know she's like in the house, and then she'll walk into the kitchen and be like, "Surprise!" And I'll be like, "Yeah, you scared me." Like literally, we're codependent in the unhealthiest way.
No, because I feel like that's cute because you're dynamic. You're an only child and your mom's not married, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you guys only have each other. And
No, we are actually problematic in every way. Wallahi. Sometimes people see us argue and they're like, "Why are you arguing with your mum like that?" And I'm like, in the middle of the argument, I kind of forget that she's my mum. And then like it sort of feels like me and her sisters or friends or something. And then we bicker and we argue. And she argues with me like I'm the same age as her. And it is so funny. But the dynamic of only children and their mums, especially if they live like near or like around their mum a lot. Even my kid, like she can tell there's like codependency there, but then I'm codependent with my kid as well. I don't know, there's a whole load of codependency happening here, but it's because she's an only child and I'm her mom and I'm not married. So it's the generational, do you know what I mean?
Crazy.
It's trickling down. It's so mad.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
It is crazy.
Maryam, what is your like? Could you give tips on how to be a more conscious parent, maybe?
Please.
Yeah. Okay. I don't. You know what? I don't like tips, but we'll go. Okay, we'll move. So I think the first tip is awareness. It's knowing that you're doing what you're doing. Yeah. So when you get to a point where you're like, this shouting is not working, this beating is not working. Okay, like I know I'm doing it. So you have to have that level of awareness first. Yeah. And then secondly, I always say it comes down to when you're shouting and screaming, there's triggers.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's certain triggers when it comes to your kids. It might just be something simple as my child is acting like a child, because that was one of my triggers.
Wow.
Like, why are you laughing? Yeah. Why are you playing so loud? Because for me, growing up,
You have to be quiet.
Yeah. Just go do your own thing in the corner quietly.
Be seen and not heard.
That typical thing. So I would say, get to know, like, even just keep a diary. That's what I did at the beginning. Like at the end of every day, I kept a diary. I was like, okay, what's the polite word? What annoyed me today? Yeah, what triggered me today? What was it about my kid? Is it something she said? Is it because she said no to me? Yeah, because sometimes our kids say no to us and we don't realize subconsciously. In the moment, you're like, okay, I'm not annoyed because she's saying no, but actually I am annoyed because she's saying no, because I was never late today saying no. So how dare you say no?
I swear that for me is one of the main things that triggers me. The main things that triggers me.
Growing up, saying no to your parents.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for me, okay, I get that she's like playing with her autonomy and choosing things. But my issue is, as a parent, is why do you do it at the most inconvenient moments? Like it's 8:30, we need to go to school. Why are you saying no, I'm not wearing my shoes?
Yeah.
Why are you saying that?
But you know what? Look, real talk. Our kids weren't here. God did not give us these kids for them to be convenient in our lives. Yeah? That's the reality. And also, I don't know about you guys, but as moms, we always get this one question. Oh, was she a good baby? Was she a good child? What does that mean?
There's no
what
such
does
thing
it mean,
as a good child.
Right, it's either she slept through, well-behaved, quiet, the ones that don't annoy us. And I would say that, it's so, if you deep it, it's mad.
If she was a baby.
We enjoy, I'm trying to be careful what I say here. We enjoy the good kids more. Yeah. Because their behavior is convenient to us as adults.
Yes.
Right? And actually, the inconvenient children, we find it hard. We don't enjoy. But I would say those inconvenient kids, because I had one, yeah? And I'm not going to say which one, because when she's older, she might watch this. But those inconvenient kids, they force you to grow the heck up. Like, I don't know about you guys. I have grown so much, wallahi, as a woman, because of my kids. And if I didn't have them, I wouldn't be sitting here chatting to you lot today, because I was a different person like 15 years ago. I was completely different.
Wow.
They forced me to basically wake up to the truth. They triggered things within me Like, you know, obviously saying no. Obviously things like, okay, I don't have any emotional, I don't know what to do with these emotions. I know how to watch Netflix. I know how to emotionally eat and binge eat. I can do that.
Yes.
But I don't know what to do when I feel angry, when I feel upset. I just start shouting and screaming. And
Yeah.
this is not just, you know, conscious parenting principles are not just about your kids. You can apply this to your husband, to your mum, to your friends. It's in every single relationship, because how are you when conflict comes up with your kids or with your mum or with your husband? Like, how are you? What do you do? Do you know how to regulate your own emotions? So that would be my third step, is learn to know what to do with your emotions. And that might just be as simple as, at the end of every day, like if you like journaling, do that. Write Dear Diary. I don't know, did you guys used to write diaries when you were little?
No.
Yeah, me too.
Especially the ones with the lock.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love diaries.
And that's
so
how you
much.
became a journalist.
Yes,
Oh,
'cause
mashallah.
I've always loved writing. I've
Yeah.
always loved writing. But diaries and notebooks used to just excite me so much.
Same. And like pens and yeah, that was me. So yeah, journaling is a great tool. And it doesn't have to be fancy pantsy. You can literally say, this annoyed me today, or this, you know, whatever. But it's getting it out. Not keeping it in. Or
That's my
one thing
problem,
I like
man.
to do is, you can tell I'm a people's person, yeah. At the end of the day, when the kids go to sleep, I am on the phone. I'm on the phone to my best friend, and I'm just like, oh my God, this happened today, and this, and you know, it's just, sometimes it's not about
need an
someone
outlet,
offering
you
you
know?
solutions.
Yeah.
It's just about someone hearing
Listening,
you. You just
yeah.
want to be heard, and for someone to say, I get it.
Yeah.
It's okay. And I think that's what we forget. And that's one of my other tips I would say is, we've lost that aspect of community as mums. We
Yes.
have lost it completely. We are not meant to do this thing alone. We are meant to have, like, you know, you guys probably agree, grew up with aunties, uncles. You know, it's normal in
All
our
the time.
cultures. Cousins, you know, they literally raised us as
Yes.
well.
And I was
And-
told that's your mum as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And she can discipline you
She can
as
discipline-
well.
yes.
Yeah, we have that in our...
That's how I ended up getting beaten.
But I have taken that and I implement that with my own kids, in the sense that if my older girls are not listening to me, they're going to listen to my sister, yeah, because she's younger and they think she's cool.
Yeah.
So they're going to listen to her. Or when there comes a time where they can't tell me something, because as their kids get older, as cool of a mum as you are, your relationship could be amazing. They just may not want to tell you because they're embarrassed or because you're their mum. But it's important that they have safe people who they feel safe with, that they can go and share whatever it is. And whether that person wants to keep it confidential, you know, that's what, at least you know they're talking to someone who
you
is...
trust.
You trust, because it's important in this day and age. But going back to the communal aspect, I feel like a lot of our parenting struggles are because we're trying to do everything ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know for some people, your community doesn't have to be your family, because for a lot of people, it isn't. It can be your friends. It doesn't have to be massive. It can be one or two friends. Yeah. Just in the way you support each other. And obviously the online world, alhamdulillah, is...
Mum club. Love that.
Even online, we've got the online world now, yeah? So even that's a village. That's a community for you as well.
Just something.
It's just something.
Yeah.
Honestly, like when I was pregnant and I couldn't get out and I had 2 kids, my friends used to send me, like, you know, like maternity pads in a box and like things that I would need for like the birth because I couldn't get out. Or like after you've given birth, like someone, you know, just cooked and just gives you a little bit extra and, you know, just drops it off. Those little things just help. Well, they help so much. And I feel
really
like
important.
we've lost that. So if another tip I would say is, don't try and do it on your own. Like, find your community, build your community. And if you want a tip to build your community, I'm going to be real, because it's not going to fall in your lap. Yeah.
You have to work for it, really, innit?
First of all, and I always say this everywhere, is you got to take off that mask that you're wearing. Yeah. The
100%.
mask where you're like, how are you? Alhamdulillah, I'm good. Yeah. We all say that, don't we?
100%.
That small talk thing where you're just like, yeah, I'm good, but
What
like,
about
you're
you?
not.
Yeah.
You're
no.
not.
And deep down, you're struggling and you're breaking and you're just, I've been there. So if you just say, you know what, actually, I'm having a hard week. It's been hard. And I guarantee when you say that other moms literally take off that masks themselves and they're like, you know what, me too. It's giving me goosebumps. Like, and that's literally it. Like, you just want to know that you're not alone. Yeah, it may not solve the problem, but the fact that you know you're not alone is like, okay, I'm human to feel this. It's normal for me to feel this way.
Do you know what? This just reminded me of something that happened when I went to Dubai. I went to, my sister lives out there, so I went and visited her in November. When I was out there, I got a message from someone anonymous account, but we've been following each other because we always used to like talk to each other through the DMs, and I don't know who this person is. Yeah. Even the name was Anon. Like it was just, I didn't know who it was, but I knew it was another mother talking to me through her Anon.
Yeah.
For some reason, I was following her too because we were bonding.
talk,
Right? We talked.
Yeah.
And I knew she was genuine, right? Anyways, I was in Dubai. She saw my story that I was there. She lives in Dubai. She said to me, listen, can we meet up?
And she said to the group chat, I'm meeting up with someone I don't know what she looks like.
Yeah.
And we said, what if it's a serial killer?
And I was like, genuinely, even my sister and my friend, that day when I was leaving to go meet up with this person, my sister was genuinely so worried. She was like, Sweet, should I come with you? Should I come with
Yeah.
you? Who is this Anon that you're meeting? And I was like, trust me, guys, I know that she's normal. I know that this is a normal person.
Okay.
I just knew, right? So anyways, whilst I was in the taxi going to meet this person, for some reason, I just felt calm. I wasn't nervous or anything. I was like, nah, this person's cool. She sent a voice note. And she was like, you probably didn't hear my voice, but I'm Somali and I'm a mum. But I just want to let you know that, like, I'm not a weirdo and we can have a good time. Yeah, listen. She also watches Entry Level Mums.
Shout out
So
to
she was
you.
like, Suia, can we meet up? And I was like, yeah, sure. Literally, we met up at a cat cafe. And I saw her for the first. She didn't even send me a pic or nothing.
Wow.
She just walked
Blind
into the
date.
cat cafe.
What
It was
like
a
blind date? That's crazy.
It was a blind friendship date, and we had a blast. The whole time
Oh,
we
my
were
God,
sitting there,
beautiful.
just talking about like motherhood struggles. We were talking about Entry Level Mum. She was talking about all her favorite episodes, and she was just like, I'm so shocked that you came to meet me, and blah blah blah. And I was like, I'm glad I came to meet you because if I didn't meet you today, I wouldn't have like ever like had this lovely interaction with you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's so weird how like just being a mum connects you with people.
Yeah.
Because I was sitting there like I knew her for years, and we both shared the same like struggles, and like she moved from Ealing to Dubai, and she was struggling to find her community there. All she was doing was going to work, coming home, going to work, coming home. So like the fact that she reached out to me,
That's
like,
like big stuff.
That's so important.
the fact that she reached out to me and said, listen, like, can we meet up?
Yeah.
And she didn't even know me like that. She only been watching me on YouTube, and she was like, Sweet, you're in Dubai, I would love to meet you. And it's like, I would never, personally, I don't think I've ever messaged anyone that I didn't know to say, hey, let's meet up for coffee. I've always been very like shy about that. Like, I feel like all the friends I make, it just happens naturally. Like, I don't ever go out of my way because I'm genuinely like a very reserved person. But when she messaged me, I was like, there was something about her where I was like, you know what? We're in Dubai, yeah. The crime rate is low. It's not like London.
True. Facts. That's true.
Do you get what I mean? And like, if you actually scroll up on the DMs, we've been talking for months. And the way she talks about motherhood, I'm like, this ain't no catfish. Man. She's a mom.
It can't be.
This is real struggle. that she's telling me.
You can't fake being a man. You can't fake it. Being a
So
man.
I was like, I have a good feeling about this person. Let me just go do it.
That's beautiful.
And
That's
we were
beautiful,
meeting in a public
mashallah.
place.
And you had
What's
a
she
really
gonna do,
good
really?
time.
Yeah.
If she's weird, I'm just gonna get on my taxi and go.
Yeah.
Right? It's not that deep.
Sweet, man, that's so sweet.
But I'm just saying,
beautiful,
like,
mashallah.
reach out to people. Like, make that initiative to be like, you know what? Like, I like this person. I like their vibe. Ask them out on a friendship date. Like, why don't we ask people out? Like, why don't we shoot shots
love
anymore
that.
with friendships?
I love
It
that.
happened to my sister twice, actually. Like, 2 girls DM'd her on Twitter. 2 different girls DM'd her to say, I've been following you for years and I like your vibe. Do you want to meet up?
I love that.
It happened twice to
And
my
she
sister.
went?
And they were besties.
You're
after that. I swear
joking.
to
Oh,
God.
that's so cute.
Just from because one of them decided, let me DM her
Oh,
because I actually want to be your friend. That's interesting, isn't it?
so sweet. You
That's
never know,
beautiful.
man.
You never know. And you know what it is? It's also, I feel like there's a lot of shame, like in like wanting to seek help.
It's
You
such
know,
a
we've
shame
got that.
thing.
It's like we've got a lot of shame around. But actually, you know what? The bravest and the strongest thing you
Bro,
can do
it's
Is
brave.
say I need
is
help.
I need help.
100%.
strongest thing you can do.
100%.
That's like, yeah, genuinely. Like,
so sweet,
I need to
Sylvia.
shoot my shot more because I swear to God, that taught me so much. I was like, damn, you really just decided to just meet up with me. And she was just very honest with it. She was like, I really want to meet you. Like, let's go out.
Can I say I love that? I love that for you. I feel like I'm rubbing off on you because that's a very Nazra thing to do.
Yeah.
Shout outs to you.
Because I swear
I
to
love
God,
that.
even my sister was like, Suia, you're going to go meet an Anon. And I'm like, it sounds weird, but trust me.
I love that.
Trust me. it sounds weird. I don't think I would do that if they wanted to meet up with me somewhere in London. I'd be like, drop me a
Real
pic.
talk. Yeah.
In London, they'd be like, yeah, meet me in Hackney, and you'll be like, I ain't never going to Hackney. No way, sorry.
Like, yeah, but something about Dubai, I feel like, you know, it's I don't know. But I was like, I'm in a good mood. Let's go to a cat
Oopsie.
cafe, and it worked out. So that honestly, shout out to you. You know who you are. Yeah. She taught me so much. She taught me a lot about like myself and like just you have to take the initiative. Yeah?
Stepping out of your comfort zone.
You want to find your village. If you want to make friends, you have to put yourself out there.
You gotta step out your comfort
Genuinely.
zone.
Absolutely, and I think that's it, you know, because I like this is I promise this I don't. You know what? I feel like as Muslim women, yeah, there's a thin line between people seeing you as confident and people seeing you as arrogant. And again, I think it comes back to our upbringing that a lot of us weren't built with that kind of like that self-esteem. So I just wanted the disclaimer. I'm gonna say that I feel like a lot of people always say to me, either in person or online, they're like, oh my God, Maryam, I love your energy. I love you. I'm like, listen, I've worked hard on this energy to get to this place. Yeah. And just connecting back to what you said, honestly, like girls, boys, ladies, whatever. Yeah. If there's someone online or if there's someone that you know of that you like their vibe, you like their energy, you feel like you can connect to them, you feel like you can relate to them, shoot your shot, honestly, because you don't know what could come out of that. A lifetime friendship, a village, a support network. So don't be shy.
100%.
Don't be shy. You know, we've got the online world. We've got, you know, the digital space is like, alhamdulillah, we're so lucky. So mums, if you're feeling alone, like honestly, if like, even if it's me, even if it's one of us here or anybody else, just DM us. Honestly, you're not alone. And you don't know what could come out from that.
You really don't know.
It can change your life quite literally.
You don't know.
Literally.
Genuinely, you just don't know. Like, yeah, definitely. That definitely changed my life. I can't lie.
That's
Definitely.
so
And I'm
sweet,
so glad
Surya,
I
man.
did that, yeah. But I'm also like proud of myself because I feel like it's just being a mum in general. It gave me a different type of confidence, you know, that I didn't have before.
Do you know what someone said to me? Oh, girls, I wish you met me 15 years ago.
Really?
I didn't talk.
No way.
No, like if you read my school reports, yeah, they were like, this girl don't put her hands up because she's too shy.
That's me.
Wallahi, I didn't
was
talk.
that quiet kid.
Yeah.
My mum got so sick and tired of reading, like, you know, when you go to parents' evening, my mum always used to say, look, everyone's gonna say you don't.
My dad said
you
the
don't
same
speak
thing.
up. My mum knew.
Wait, oh my
what
God,
to
I had the
expect.
opposite.
Yeah.
I had the opposite. Every time I had school reports, my mum would be dreading it. She'd be like, what are they going to say now? It was every teacher would say the exact same thing. It's so crazy. She participates. She's great in the class. She does not shut up. She argues. And if she needs to make her point, she makes it like by any means necessary.
Good for you.
Like Nazra does not shut up.
Love that.
I wish she would be quieter. Every single teacher would say the same thing, and it would be like my mum would be like, "Is she rude? Is she?" Because she'd be like, "Your ma'alim is like your teacher. They're like your mum. They're like your dad.
I say that
Your
to my girls, I'm
ma'alim
not gonna lie.
is like your parent. You
Yeah.
need to be respectful of them the same way you're respectful of me." And at the same time, I'm like, "That's actually not my mum. How do you want me to call Julie?" Mum, doesn't make sense. So all of them would be like, Nazra argues. She doesn't shut up. She doesn't stop talking. She distracts all the other children. And I wish somebody would have just said, I think she has ADHD. I wish somebody would have just said that.
But that's another conversation about the school system.
Yeah.
So we can't go there today.
sad,
but that's
man.
another bless you. That's another conversation.
I
Because
wish someone would have said that. Because then my life would have been a lot more, like I would have been able to navigate with a lot more knowledge a lot earlier on. Like now, like you said earlier on, you know, when your kids say no to you and like the tantrums and all of those things that trigger you as a parent, like I feel like I get triggered a lot more than other parents. So, and my kid is definitely, Allah sent her to test me, mashallah. But I feel like I get triggered a lot faster, a lot more and a lot more intensely than other parents. I feel like as soon as I'm triggered, it can take me an hour to untrigger myself. Like it can take me so long to get back to being like calm. And people say like the ADHD meds, they make you numb or like they make you emotionless. But I find that they reduce my anxiety, not anxiety, but like the intensity at which I feel things.
Yeah.
So sometimes my kid is bugging, and if I've had medication that day, I'm like, it's okay, calm down, Hannah.
Oh, okay.
It's fine, Hannah. Relax. It's not the end of the world, Mama. Relax, chill. If I haven't had it, I'm like, can you stop screaming, bruv? Why are you screaming so much? You're stressing me out. And then I'm like working myself up.
Yeah.
But if I've had the meds, I'm like monotone. Chill. It's all right. It's not that deep. Relax. And even the other day, I took the meds in the morning and I went to the Galentine's thing with Big Hannah. And I was sitting there and she was like, you're very chilled out today. She looked at me, she was like, you're very relaxed. Usually I'm like a meerkat. You know that advert, the meerkat advert? That one. This is literally me all the time. But I was just like, chilled. I said to her, yeah, I took the meds this morning. Very relaxed, emotionless. I love it. Parenting with like neurodivergency, I feel like that's a whole topic that needs to be studied because genuinely I feel like harder for me than it is for other people. Yeah. And I don't want to say that because obviously I don't want to invalidate any other person's experience. However, I just feel like the intensity level of it is so much higher when you already cannot control yourself. Yeah. Like I'm already like a crackhead. Everyone describes me like a crackhead. You know them ones? I've got crackhead energy.
Definitely, I vouch for that. Definitely crackhead energy.
I have crackhead energy, and then when something is not going my way, I don't know, maybe that ties into the only child syndrome. But when something doesn't go my way, I lose it. Like I lose the control that I already didn't have.
See, that's really interesting, and that's why I say, you know what, like parenting is not about the kids. It's about yourself.
100%.
It's about you.
Yeah.
See, like you were saying, like your neurodiversity, like just like you didn't know.
I didn't know.
Is it when you became a mom that you realized? Yeah. See, like
I didn't know.
So I'm saying it's when you understand yourself, like the way you handle your emotions, neurodiversity, all sorts of things. When you understand yourself and when you can work on those aspects, parenting just becomes, dare I say, that little bit more easier because then you're able to, instead of reacting, then you have that choice to respond. Yeah. Whereas if you don't know yourself at all, you don't know why you're reacting the way you're reacting, you just think, it's normal, when really it's probably not. It's a coping mechanism that you've probably picked up from your own upbringing or something you've experienced, then it is going to be that much harder. So I think going back to conscious parenting, that level of awareness of yourself, and I always say, do you know what, like, I feel like raising your kids can, and for me it's been true, raising your kids can either bring the best version of yourself out if you work on yourself, or it can bring the worst. Because I met the worst parts of myself when I became a mom. Like, I was like, where did this come from? Where did this madness come from? But then it's like, then you have the choice on like, am I going to work on it? Or am I just going to ignore it and hope it goes away? Because it's not going to go away, unfortunately. Yeah. And I think also the people you surround yourself with as a mom are really, really important. Because for me, I remember in the beginning, like, okay, I'm going to give a disclaimer, yeah? There's nothing wrong with complaining, right? Yeah. There's nothing wrong with venting as a mom, yeah? Don't get me wrong, nothing wrong. I do it all the time. But I feel like if it gets to a point where you're just complaining, you're going around in circles, your friends are encouraging you and they're like, oh, yeah, I do. You're going to feel stuck. You're going to feel stuck. Whereas if you have a circle where they're like, oh, yeah, I get it, me too. But maybe there's something a little bit more, yeah? Maybe you need to go and talk to someone, or maybe, like, this helped me, Yeah. I feel like that is really important, practical especially advice, as a mom, like practical advice is really important. So I'm not saying don't complain, don't vent, but if it gets to a point where it's like, I've got to do something about this now, because you know what? I don't believe Allah created us to be miserable moms. Like, I don't believe in that. Wallahi, like, I feel like 100%. Growing up, like, I saw a lot of miserable mums, like, bless them, like overworked and just like, especially in our cultures. Like, so I'm predominantly from a South Asian culture. My grandma was Sudanese, big up. I mean, Allah grant her Jannah. I mean, like, we've got a mix in our family. My brother-in-law's Somali. My husband's West African.
We love that.
So, like, alhamdulillah, very, very big mix of cultures and everything. So, yeah, I know the whole Somali culture. I'm like,
I love that. That's so beautiful. That brings me actual, like, it brings me happiness and peace, because now I know when you're I just bit my tongue. Damn. Which one are you talking shit about me? Basically, it makes me happy because when you're given the parenting courses, you come from a place of knowledge and experience. So when you're saying black and brown parenting, the Somalis, because you understand us.
I probably should have mentioned that in the beginning, by
Yeah,
the way.
once you understand someone, you can
knew
help.
because I remember you always mentioned that you've got like mixed kids.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
But I forgot to ask you in the beginning. But
Alhamdulillah. So that was a bit wild when you're parenting from like two heavy cultures,
Wow.
which are the same in discipline. So for my husband, like I'm happy to talk about him, but my husband, like when I first said to him, look, you know, like we've got to like sometimes apologize to our kids and sometimes we've got to try. He's like, what? He's like, this soft parenting, I'm not doing it. I don't know what you're talking about. Because he got beat when he was young. It's normal, isn't it?
And
It's
no one
just
apologized to
normal.
him, I
in
assume.
the African culture, no one apologized to him. Even till today, like God bless my mother-in-law and bring her to Islam, inshallah. You know, she's a beautiful woman. I always say, you know, like I need to get her on one of my parenting courses because the way she's raised her son, Allahumma barik, like alhamdulillah. But it's been a journey, you know, like I should have mentioned that in the beginning. But alhamdulillah, so I get it. So when I teach, you know, like I always say, it's not just from a professional perspective, it's from a person. I literally live and breathe what I do every single day in raising my own kids and just who I am as a person as well. So I get it. I get both cultures. I get the cultural nuances. I understand how hard it is, but I also know at the same time that we are changing things and we can continue, inshallah, to change things, inshallah.
That's so beautiful.
Oh, honestly, I feel like we could talk about this all day.
No, I could sit here
I
all
love
day.
this episode.
All day and talk about this.
I wanted to also kind of get into Ramadan for a bit.
Yeah.
Ramadan is coming, fast approaching.
Yeah.
How was Ramadan like growing up for you guys in your households?
Oh,
Like,
Ramadan.
Where was your mother?
In the kitchen.
Yeah. In the kitchen. I remember when we were young, my mum would start cooking from, well, let's just say 2-3 hours before iftar. She'd be in the kitchen. And this happens every single year, even till now, bless her, The first day of Ramadan is when she cooks the most.
Yeah, when she has
It's
the
like
most
you
energy.
you just think in your head, like, oh, everyone's hungry. Yeah. Like, I'm going to do a whole feast. My mum used to do so many, like, we'd be sitting on the floor as a family. We'd sit on the floor and me and my sister would be helping her. But, like, my mum would just be cooking different dishes, multiple dishes. And no one would even finish it. Because after 2 samosas, I'm always done.
Yeah.
I swear to God, like 2 samosas, 1 malawah, I'm done.
You can't eat more than that.
I
Your
swear to
stomach
God,
is
and
like
I always
small.
I always used to say to my mum, Hoy, you always cook too much. You really don't need to be doing too much. But it's just, it's a habit, right? And by the time you get to like mid-Ramadan, she'll end up just doing it. She's like,
She's over
I
it.
know how you guys are moving.
And she's tired
Or
as
sometimes
well.
we just order pizza or whatever. But that's how I grew up. I grew up with my dad just laying on the couch, my brothers laying on the couch, me, my mum, my sister in the kitchen.
Yep.
And sometimes it's like, it's not even the cooking, it's the cleaning up 20 dishes afterwards.
Yep.
Yeah, because we used to travel to Taraweeh all the way in Streatham. Yeah. We used to go from, and I'm talking like it's a good 30-minute drive from where we lived. Yeah?
Wow.
So
Yeah,
basically,
that's
to make it for Taraweeh, we had to eat quickly. Yeah. And sometimes we wouldn't even have time to like do the dishes.
Yeah.
So that we can get ready to go and make it for Taraweeh. And we would all go there as a family. And then when we come back after Taraweeh,
all the cleaning
the
is
dishes
left for
are
you.
waiting for who? It's either my mum, me, my sister, or all 3 of us in the kitchen doing it. And do you know, I feel like the resentment that me and my sister had towards like my brother, for example, would just always be like, why?
How come you don't have to do
you just
anything?
clean your own plate?
Exactly.
Start there.
Exactly.
The resentment always used to be like that. And the maddest thing is, till this day, like every time we say anything about like brothers not doing anything and blah, 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 like till this day, sometimes my mum, she still doesn't get it. It's always why
he's
you
a
always,
boy.
why are you always mad at your brother? Why are you the one that's always shouting at him, right? But like, I feel like this is something that happens with every household. So like Ramadan and motherhood and bruh, I'm even, not that I dread Ramadan, but like even now, thinking about Ramadan coming, I'm just in my head trying to think, okay, how much should I be cooking? Because it's just me and Hassan that are fasting. How much should I be cooking? Because I'm so used to my mum making so much food. I don't know, Ramadan just makes me a bit nervous.
Don't overwhelm yourself. That's number one.
Yeah.
Don't just cook the same amount that you would cook normally. maybe with an extra 5 samosas.
The biggest thing is we both work full time now. Hassan's not even going to be eating iftar Monday to Wednesday. He's not even going to be at home.
Oh.
He finishes 8-9 o'clock, way after iftar.
So just pack him a little, pack lunch.
I come home
or tell him to pack himself a pack
around
lunch.
7.
Once, I don't know.
Yeah, it's just I'm even thinking about our work schedules, and I feel like at this point it's only going to be on the weekends where we can actually cook and eat together. Do you know what I mean? But
do you know what? I'm
just
gonna say Ramadan is you know what, it's not about food, innit?
It's true.
It's actually
it's not about food.
It's not actually about
Literally.
No, if you actually think about Ramadan, it's literally about
spirituality,
improving yourself,
Yeah,
discipline,
that's it.
Soul searching,
yes,
that's it.
doing more worship,
Not filling
and
up their
getting
bellies.
closer to Allah.
Literally.
And
Yeah.
I'm out here thinking about
What am I gonna cook?
How should I be? Am I gonna be a bad wife if I don't cook every day?
No, but that's not your fault though. That's not your fault, because like I said, it goes back to our culture. We've seen our parents, our mums do that.
Yeah.
Bless them. Like you said, my mum, she's the same. The table. I'm like, who's coming over?
Table spread. Yeah.
What's going on? Who's gonna finish that? You know what I mean? But that's part of their love language as well. They like doing that. Bless them. But for us, I always say that all mums are working, whether inside the home, outside the home. We're all working mums. Yeah. But if you're working outside of the home or whatever you're doing, then obviously that's an extra added, thing, pressure. What we do in our household is just the normal dish that we would cook, and maybe we fry some samosas or fry something extra, maybe make another little side dish. I get my kids involved. Listen, every single Ramadan with the older two, we sit down, we're like, okay, this is Master Chef, yeah, let's pretend, yeah. We're gonna write up a whole menu, yeah. Wow. What's the main? There's no starters. Don't take it that far. What's the main? Yeah. What's the dessert? And maybe a little side something. And what are you gonna help me with? Yeah, because it's a combined effort, and obviously my husband included as well. Yeah. But I think this might not be relevant, but I think what's really interesting with our cultures is that, because I'm talking about black and brown, I feel like brown men, are raised differently to perhaps, let's say, African, Caribbean, or Somali men. I don't know what it's like with Somali men. Do they cook I don't know, or they talk
I tell you, they feet up vibes.
Okay, so the same as
vibes.
They don't cook, they eat.
It's the same, bro.
All right, same as South Asian men then, yeah. Because what I found with the African or Caribbean men, they're okay with, they don't mind, not all of them, but my husband, he don't mind being in the kitchen. It's not a thing, he don't mind, because mashallah, like I said, my mother-in-law's done an amazing job, So he don't mind. So I feel like for me, I it's been a little bit different, and I feel like, I'm not gonna lie, when we got married, I was straight. I was I saw my mum doing all of that. I was like, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it. I'm sorry. We live in this. I say this to my girls. You know what? I know you don't want to help out. I know it's annoying, because I remember how I felt when my mum used to make me get in the kitchen and help out.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's not about chores. I don't like that word.
Yeah.
We all live in the same house. We all got to take responsibility
together. Why can't we all do it together?
Yeah. Because it's nice to do things as a family, you know? So I think what I would say to moms, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you can outsource, go buy those samosas. You don't have to make them yourself. Yeah. And you get people who make the homemade ones as well.
Who has time for that?
So go buy them.
No.
People are making samosas from scratch.
People are, trust me, they do.
We've got a samosa plug every Ramadan.
Alhamdulillah.
My mum gets 200 samosas. She gives me 100, and she makes the best samosas. We put it in the freezer. Bro.
Alhamdulillah, that's it.
Just fry it up.
Fry 1, 2 samosa, you're done. You're done. Honestly, I would say just make one dish. If you want to make extra, fairs. But you know what? Ramadan is not about food. Like we said, it's about spirituality. And if you're going through Ramadan feeling burnt out, you're feeling resentful, you ain't got time for no ibadah. Yeah. And Ramadan is for everyone. It's not just for the men.
True.
Yeah. It's for the women as well. So what I would say to the men, go in the kitchen, help out your wife. I know you got time.
Some mums are in the
do
kitchen
it together, please.
for hours.
It's not fair.
Like the mums who have 6, 7 kids. Like the ones
It's
that
not
have
fair.
a big family. Bro, the mum is in the kitchen from 5 p.m, 4 p.m.
I'm sorry, I'm not
It's
doing
not
any
fair.
of that, bro.
Bro, cooking is exhausting, man. And then you've got the hot stove in your face. You're fasting as well. Like
Exactly.
You can't even drink
it's a
water.
lot
You
of
can't even taste it.
labour.
Exactly. But what I will say, actually, having said that, I will say that, if you are doing the cooking, inshallah, somebody else is helping you. And look, parenting doesn't stop during Ramadan.
No, it doesn't.
You still got to raise the
Exactly.
kids.
Still
You're
gotta-
still going to have the
100%.
tantrums. You're still going to have the teenager who has the
Yeah.
hormones. It's wild. It doesn't stop. But what I will say to all moms out there is that is also an act of ibadah.
Of course.
Yeah, with the right intention.
Yes.
Raising your kids is also an act of ibadah with the right, and inshallah your rewards will be tripled. You know, like your reward is with
Inshallah.
Allah at the end of the day. So remember that. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't try. Obviously, look, I always say motherhood is seasons. Yeah, when you have littles, it's like seasons of littles. You know, toddlers, newborns.
Yeah.
That's a survival season.
Yes.
Yeah, when they get older, that's a different mental headache season. Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh
It's
my
different.
God.
It changes, and I've got both. Yeah, so mine's mental and yeah.
Wow.
So
Everything.
it's a alhamdulillah. Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
So when you're in that season, your Ramadan is gonna look different. Yeah, I remember.
100%.
Oh my God, girls, I remember. My husband went to Tarawih to the masjid, and I used to love going. I remember I used to miss it so much. You know that Ramadan vibe, like you don't feel it. I remember sitting in the dark on the floor, like with my phone in my hand, with the like Quran app open, and like trying to get my toddler to sleep. My newborn was already sleeping. I just started crying because I was just like, I want to be in the masjid. Like I want to go to Tarawih. And then it's only I got to that point where I thought, okay, like. Ramadan will meet you where you are. Like, you don't have to be in the mosque. Yeah, that's not, you know what I mean? Like, Ramadan is Ramadan. But I don't know about you guys, like, I really missed that when they were really
I
young.
used to love Tarawih, going to Tarawih with the family. And
It's just
sometimes
a
we'd be
vibe,
there all
innit?
night as well. We wouldn't come
Yeah.
home till
I'm not gonna lie
it was
to you.
vibes.
I didn't like Tarawih as a kid
Yeah.
because I was a big back kid and standing up would make me bare tired and sweaty. So I did not enjoy Tarawih as a kid, but I loved being in the masjid.
Yeah.
You know, when you're just there. I remember even when I was on
Comfy.
my period, my mum used to take me with her, and I would sit there and I would just feel so like warm. Everybody's there. It just feels like a community. You see people you ain't seen in like a year, 2 years. Like, oh my God, you're my neighbor, but I ain't seen you in so long. And you bump into them in the masjid.
Yeah.
Such a beautiful time and place, wallahi. I love Eid prayer. Eid prayer was my vibe.
Vibes.
Absolutely.
I
So
miss that as a mum. I haven't really been doing a lot of that. in
it's
Ramadan.
hard though. I think it's hard. Like now, me and my husband, we take turns now because it just gets too late for the kids sometimes. Or sometimes I'll take the older two with me, but the 4-year-old just messes about anyway. The aunties are just like, I'm like,
You know what they say? They say a masjid that doesn't have children running around and screaming in it, it's not like a masjid. Like the children make the masjid.
They are just as
Literally.
welcome as everyone else.
And they say that if people tell your kid to shh, be quiet in the masjid, you shouldn't do that. Let them run. Let them see the masjid as like a fun place.
Absolutely.
Then they'll come back. If they see it as like, oh, it's the place that I always have to sit down and be quiet, they're not gonna have that like love for the masjid.
I agree. It's like if you're not allowing them to go at young ages, how do you expect them to be there? Suddenly go as teenagers or as young adults? How are they going to go
Facts.
there? So that's But I think I would say obviously Ramadan and motherhood. That boundaries post.
Hey.
Listen, that went wild. I think
Oh, I
I think
love
it's
that
still going
post.
viral somewhere.
I was reading the comments and I was thinking, you people are weird. Some of the people in the comments, I was thinking, bloody hell.
All the ones that were saying yes, were women. Just women saying yes.
The men are probably in their heads like, nah, what is this woman on?
The men are like, hey, what do you mean? What do you mean? I want you to be cooking for me. What's going on?
She's ruining all of the wives. Like
Hey,
she's
I want my
changing.
iftar. What's going on?
What's happening?
They probably do think that. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, no, you have to have boundaries during Ramadan. You have to because Ramadan, like we said, it's not about food. It is about getting closer to Allah. So if you're gonna be doing like ibadah, you're gonna be reading Quran. If you're in the kitchen 24/7, how's that gonna happen? You know,
It's
so
not,
it's about
yeah.
having self-respect and respect for Allah. In fact, I would go as far as saying, to actually honor the month that He has blessed you to be alive in, because the reality
Alhamdulillah.
is, how many people do we hear that pass away just before Ramadan?
Hey,
Yes.
this is the
Yeah, and they
scary
don't
part
get
for
to
me.
see.
I'm like, let
Same.
me just get to Ramadan.
Same, same.
You know what? We don't have a lot of time. Plug yourself.
Oh, Maryam.
Tell people where they can find
Tell
you.
people where they can find
your
you.
courses, everything.
Okay, so you can find me on pretty much all social media platforms: Facebook, TikTok, Instagram at Black and Brown Parenting. It's pretty simple. I do have a website, but you'll find all the links there basically. I've got like, do you know what? Just go to my Insta, go to the link in my bio, and you will find all my courses there. Inshallah, if you want to book me as a speaker, make sure you do.
Love
Book
that.
me as a speaker. I'm trying to get onto bigger stages, inshallah. So yeah, the form is there as well. And if you want to see me on any other podcasts or like see me back here, because honestly, girls, like wallahi,
We
honestly,
would
I
love
mean
to.
this from the bottom of my heart. Yeah, it's like I feel like I've known you guys for like years.
Oh.
alhamdulillah, like I love coming on to places where it's just pure honesty, like pure vibes, just yeah, love your energy. May Allah bless you both. And thank you for having me. Honestly,
Thank you for coming. Thank you so much for coming. Guys, like, comment, subscribe, share, and tell us what you think about this episode. We love it. And honestly, no shame, book her course. If you feel like you need it, I'm going to book her course. Book the course. I definitely need that shit. Help. It's okay to ask for help. And comment, like, subscribe, share.
Also, one more thing. We might be publishing this in Ramadan. So Ramadan Mubarak. And by the way, guys.
Yes.
It's not Ramadan now when we
yes, it's not Ramadan now.
It's not Ramadan now.
You see us drinking.
Because there's always someone that's like, oh my God,
oh, are you not fasting? Wow.
Ramadan Mubarak, guys. Thank you for watching.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.